Can we please talk about the fights coming up this weekend? Jack Manson against Strickland in the main event for UFC Vegas 47. This one I'm actually really looking forward to. The main event at least. Like the rest of the card, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to bullshit you. The rest of the card is weak. Like, pretty weak. I'm not saying there isn't going to be some great fights. There usually is. You know what I mean? It's very rare. That's one of the greatest things about mixed martial arts and the UFC in particular. It's really rare that you'll get a whole card of just stinky fights. Like, you know, some of these fights will be tremendous. It's just the star power, like, definitely isn't there, other than in the main event. And yeah, let's take a look at UFC Vegas 47. So, the first fight I want to look at is in the middleweight division. You've got Trishan Gore. Is it Trishan or Trishan? Trishan. I'm going to say Trishan. Trishan Gore against Brian Battle. Battle, what a great surname to have for a mixed martial artist, for a fighter. So, yeah. Both these guys were in the latest season of The Ultimate Fighter. Their original fight got canned. And, look, I was quite surprised that Trishan Gore is the favourite in this one. Because, to be honest, I was quite impressed with him on The Ultimate Fighter. He got that nice TKO over Urbina, and he was just a very good fighter. He's just solid. But Brian Battle was also extremely good. Brian Battle was just very good, in fact, and he always seemed to find a way of getting the choke. He just found ways of getting the submission, which is why I like the submission here for Brian Battle. Brian Battle is going to be the bigger guy as well. Brian Battle was a heavyweight at one point, and you can really see it on him. Like he's got a good frame actually. He's quite tall. And he does use that size pretty well. So actually, as an underdog, I kind of like Brian Battle in this one, especially to get the submission. You're getting 5-1 on that, +6, which is actually a pretty decent price. Because let's face it, like these guys at this level, it could go either way. Like very easy, it could go either way. But if you're looking for something like where you got some decent odds, like because Brian Battle, he gets chokes all over the place. He's just really good at getting those chokes in, right? So to have him 5-1 against to get the submission, I just like the value there, if nothing else. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see both of those. You know, and then we've got Sam Alvey taking on a last-minute replacement, Brandon Allen. Sam Alvey had a different opponent. Brandon Allen is stepping in. But it doesn't seem to matter who they put against Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey's likely going to lose. The man has not won since 2018, where he won a split decision over Gian Villante. And what has Gian Villante done lately? Look, let's be fair, right? Sam Alvey lost his last fight, even though his opponent had 2 points deducted off him. And I thought it was actually a fair result, to be fair. Like, Sam Alvey was, like, livid after the fight. But actually, I was like, no, to be fair, you were losing that. Like, you lost the whole way, really. And, yeah, and he still couldn't get the win, even though his opponent got deducted 2 points. That's quite... That stings. That stings a bit, doesn't it? And... yeah, I mean, Smiling Sam was not smiling after that. Look, the problem with Sam Alvey is that, I don't know, I thought he was way younger. I thought he was way older than he is, sorry. He's only 35 years old. I thought he was 45 he's a day. You know, the man has been around for a long time, and just the way he moves, he looks older than he, like, he's just got that very static kind of plodding style where he plants his feet. And don't get me wrong, he has got some power. And the thing is, right, there's a part of me that's like, look, you know, Sam Alvey can't win this fight. It's impossible. Nothing's impossible, which is why I'm kind of, look, you know me. I like to roll the dice on the underdogs because I bet in such little quantities. It's just like, there's no point in putting money on the favourites. You know what I mean? You almost lose money even if they win. So look, Brandon Allen is one of the biggest favourites on this card. Not because of how good he is, but because of the bad run that Sam Alvey is on, if that makes sense, right? And Sam Alvey, come on, look, he hasn't won since 2018. Surely that means he's due a win, right? That's the best way to put your money down, isn't it? That's how to gamble. Yeah, look, let's be fair. Allen isn't unbeatable, but with respect, he is probably better than Sam Alvey. That being said, he is taking this fight on short notice, right? So you've got to wonder, how prepared was Brendan Allen to be fighting? I don't know if he was training for another fight or what kind of shape he's going to be in. And you've also got to remember that Sam Alvey, he can hit. Like, if he gets into a firefight, if Brendan Allen gets into a firefight with Sam Alvey, there are avenues for Sam Alvey to win that. The dude can crack, don't he? He plants those feet and he throws. And also Alvey has got an excellent chin. He's very durable. For that reason, I'm taking the 7-1 on Sam Alvey to win by knockout. Now, I mean, honestly, that is a really awful bet. Awful, because you know what, the chances of that happening are basically zero, because I don't really see Sam Alvey winning this fight. If you want a safe bet, take Arnold Allen by submission. Arnold Allen, he's got a few submissions, he does like getting submissions, and you know, he's probably going to win however he wants. But you know, obviously Sam Alvey getting the knockout is not impossible. That's why I'm taking the odds on that one, just for fun. And you know, I do want to say, I do like Smiling Sam. He's one of my favourites, just because you know what you're getting with him. He will bite down his mouthpiece and he will swing. And he is at least entertaining to watch, which I think is why he still has a UFC contract at the end of the day. Man, I hope he can win this one. I really do. I will be supporting Smiling Sam Alvey all the way. It's hard to see somebody getting the win who hasn't won since 2018. That's all I'm saying. But I am being an idiot and I am betting on exactly that. So let's move on to the main event. Now, this is really interesting. You've got Jack Hermansson versus Sean Strickland at middleweight. The winner of this fight likely has a claim to get to the middleweight title. So, who's going to win this? Things for me, right? I'm a huge fan of Strickland, by the way. I just think he's an absolute he's mentally ill. Like Sean Strickland has probably killed before, and he will likely do it again. So he is actually a nutcase. He's legitimately a psychopath. And you know what? Sometimes you need characters like that in sports like this. Do you know what I mean? Jack Hermansson is the complete polar opposite. He's cool, he's calm, he's happy. Do you know, he's doing this as a sport. He's very respectful. Sean Strickland is going to talk some mad shit, and he's going to go in there to hurt Hermansson because he enjoys hurting people. He's often said that. He makes no bones about it. He makes no apologies for it. He likes to hurt people, and he has found a profession where he can make a good living out of hurting people. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. I am really looking forward to this one because look, the win streak that Strickland is on, he beat Talib, Marshman, Allen, Jotko and Uriah Hall. That is quite a list. Although Jotko, like, he was really highly touted, but honestly I think he was well overrated because he just has not done very much. And then you got Hermansson. He stopped the hype train of Edmund Shabazian, remember? Like, Shabazian was supposed to be coming in and looking great, and Hermansson just you know, nullified him completely. Hermansson got that slick heel hook over Kelvin Gastelum, like, you know, just a couple of years ago. And you've got to feel like, you know, because Hermansson, he's got like 6 submissions on his record. He does like going for those submissions. Whilst Sean Strickland is a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he has 0 submissions on his record because he doesn't generally go for submissions. He likes to just go in there and like hurt people. And what I like about Strickland's style is it's kind of a vicious style. He has kind of, like, it's not like knockout power, but it's a vicious power. Does that make sense? Because like when he hits people, he hurts them. He really does. And that's where my money is going to go on this one. I think that Sean Strickland, over 5 rounds, will likely find a TKO against Jack Hermansson. I think that Strickland is good enough at stopping the takedown because Hermansson, like, he is good at getting the fight to the ground. That's the key, really. Look, if Hermansson gets this to the ground, I think actually his grappling is really, really impressive. And you could very well see Hermansson walk away with the submission, because I think the submission's like 6.5 to 1. That's not bad, actually. 11 to 2 on the submission for Hermansson. That's not a bad bet. That's a sneakily good one, actually, because he is very good at, you saw with that heel hook, like he's got very high level submissions. But then again, Sean Strickland, he's also like, he's a brown belt in his own right. He just doesn't really use it that much in his fights. But all the fights, they start standing. Every round starts standing. And I do think that Hermansson on the feet is not going to get the better of the exchanges with Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland is going to hurt him somewhere in the 3rd or 4th round. That's what I would be going for, a 3rd or 4th round knockout. But I'm going for the TKO knockout overall, which is 3.25. So you're getting better than even money on that. And I like that as a bet. Just literally Sean Strickland to win by knockout, TKO, but because I think that he's going to overwhelm him in the 4th and 5th round, 3rd, 4th or 5th. Like he's going to overwhelm him and drop him, and he's going to find that finish. 3.25 is not bad on that at all. So I'm going to throw that onto my bet slip along with all those other terrible bets I've been doing. So you've got Sam Alvey by knockout, Brian Battle by submission, and Sean Strickland by knockout is 155 to 1. With good reason, because that is a terrible bet. It is a terrible bet that has almost no chance of coming off, which is why it's only worth £1. But hey, it's going to be fun to be watching the fights. I'm really looking forward to the main event. It has really big implications in that middleweight division. And yeah, so just as always, thank you very much for watching, and thanks for all your support. If you could do me a favour and like, share and subscribe, it would be massively appreciated. And yeah, I'll wrap these up on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, maybe Thursday. Depends how many. I've been doing a lot of stand-up again lately, so I've been going out during the week, which is why episodes have been late and all that kind of nonsense. But either way, until we find out what happens on this card and I can recap it later on next week, keep all those odds long and those bets terrible.